Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
An episode of the mutual program Murder-by-Ex-erts, as this goes back 73 years to July 4th, 1949, 2 coffins to kill. And we thank you for joining us. On this Monday, Independence Day, July 4th, 185th day of 2022. We have 180 days remaining until the end of the year. 4th of July, of course, widespread significance in American culture as a reference to Independence Day celebrations in the U.S. It was on this date in 1776 that the United States declared independence from Great Britain. Henry David Thoreau moved into his shack on Walden Pond on this date in 1845. Lewis Carroll first told the story of Alice's adventures underground to the Liddell sisters. That was in 1862. In 1884, the Statue of Liberty presented to the U.S. in Paris. In 1895, Catherine Lee Bates published America the Beautiful. Lou Gehrig, stricken with ALS, made his farewell at Yankee Stadium back in 1939.
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. That I might have been given a bad break, but I've got an awful lot to live for. Thank you.
The Yankees retired Gehrig's uniform number 4, making him the first player in Major League Baseball to accorded that honor. Lou Gehrig making his farewell statement in Yankee Stadium back in 1939. Farm Aid 2 in Austin, Texas on this date in 1986. In 1997, the U.S. Pathfinder probe landing on Mars. The cornerstone of the Freedom Tower laid on the World Trade Center site in New York City in 2004. And in 2009, the Statue of Liberty's crown reopened to the public after 8 years of closure due to security concerns following the September 11 attacks. Passing away on this day, can you believe that 3 presidents passed away on Independence Day? President John Adams, President Thomas Jefferson, and President James Monroe, the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th presidents. Physicist and Nobel Prize winner Marie Curie passing away on this date in history. Pro wrestler Adrian Adonis, Eva Gabor from Green Acres, painter Bob Ross, and his Pretty Little Trees. Also Charles Kuralt, Barry White, and football coach Hank Stram. Went to school with a number of his kids in Kansas City. This is the birth date of songwriter Stephen Foster. President Calvin Coolidge, Silent Cal, born on this date. Soldier planner Ulysses S. Grant. Film producer Louis B. Mayer, cartoonist Rube Goldberg, and you've seen some of the things. So many people still, in fact, there are still YouTube channels that are dedicated to building Rube Goldberg-type contraptions, which is where the whole thing came about. Ridiculously outlandish mechanical things to do simple tasks. Louis Armstrong, born on this date in history as well, and he would say for years, he thought they were just celebrating his birthday. He didn't know about the country. He didn't. Mobster Meyer Lansky, who, interestingly enough, had a lot to do with the creation of Las Vegas. He did. His mob connections all over a lot of the old casinos. Mitch Miller, who brought singing back to the American homes. Sing Along with Mitch. Amazing. Fun show. The advice columnists, both born on this date, Ann Landers and Pauline Phillips, better known as Abigail Van Buren. Dear Abby, yep. They both had their advice columns. Also, the Queen of Mean, Leona Helmsley, and Neil Simon and Bill Withers, Lean on Me. Eva Marie Saint is 98 years old today. You remember her from North by Northwest and On the Waterfront. Also, Italian actress Gina Lollobrigida, 95. Geraldo Rivera, 79, and that's all I'm going to say about him. And Malia Obama, growing up to be quite the little young woman. She is 24 years old today. Those some of the people celebrating Independence Day. The 4th day of July is their birthday. If this is your birthday,
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
and we're going back 73 years, July 4th, 1949. Murder by Experts. 2 coffins to fill. That's up next on this Monday, Independence Day Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medi-Share for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medi-Share's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medi-Share is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
I guess it's a day like this that I need to explain why the big shows didn't do 4th of July shows. Because a lot of the shows that were around Independence Day were not the full-time shows. They were summer replacement shows. And you know, what do you mean? Back in the day, it was thought that people didn't listen to radio in the summertime. There were very few portable radios like we would have later on. And because of that, a lot of cars didn't even have radios. And because of that, they didn't put a lot of effort. They did 39 weeks of radio, gave the big stars and the celebs 13 weeks off, and they rolled on with the replacement shows. And so we don't have a lot of shows that aim around the 4th of July or celebrate Independence Day. And we've aired a couple of those the last couple of days, and I think we may have one coming up the next day or so, because those shows all didn't air on July 4th. So, what you're hearing today is a summer show from Mutual called Murder by Experts. This episode originally broadcast 73 years ago today, July 4th, 1949, and it's called 2 Coffins to Fill.
Murder by Experts.
The Mutual Broadcasting System presents Murder by Experts with your host and narrator, Mr. John Dixon Carr, world-famous mystery novelist and author of the recently published bestseller, The Life of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
This is John Dixon Carr. Each week at this time, Murder by Experts brings you a story of crime and mystery which has been chosen for your approval by one of the world's leading detective writers. Those experts who are themselves masters of the art of murder and can hold tensity at its highest. This time, our guest expert is the noted mystery novelist, Kelly Roos. From the innumerable thrillers he has read and enjoyed, Mr. Roos has chosen a story by Robert Foster. To quote Mr. Roos, the story is a fascinating study of an ambitious and corrupt man venturing into the unknown and being caught in a whirlpool of violence and death. And now we present Carl Weber in 2 Coffins to Fill. The scene, Nick's place, a popular roadhouse on the West Coast. It's early evening, and the dimly lit cocktail lounge is empty, save for the bartender and a couple in a corner booth.
Roger, we can't go on like this.
Why not, darling?
I'm tired of meeting you at discreet places, of seeing you only when you can get away from your wife.
You'll just have to be patient, Eve.
Patient? It's already a year. How long do you think I'll go on waiting for you?
What would you have me do?
Leave her. Forget about the money. We can get along.
On what? Oh, no, Eve.
What do you think you'll get from her?
I have plans. It'll take time, but I'm very patient.
Well, I'm not. I can't go on waiting, Roger. I won't.
I'm sorry, Eve. Another drink?
Nothing affects you, does it, Roger? War, famine, or love. You're a man with only one weakness, money.
Why is it that women can never break off without creating a scene?
Why, you arrogant... Oh, what a fool I've been. All right, Roger, I'll break off without creating a scene. Goodbye, Roger.
I'll have another, Steve, and put a dash of bitters in it.
Hello, Thornton. Your friend left in a hurry.
You're quite observant, Al.
I'm a student of human nature. Nick's having a game in the back tonight. Interested?
A game?
Poker.
Yes, since my date's walked out on me, I'll play a few hands. Tell Nick I'll be there. It's amazing how one small weakness can disrupt an otherwise orderly and well-thought-out plan. My wife, Frida's first husband, left her with a manufacturing plant and holdings amounting to something like $4 million. That's a comfortable sum of money, and I'm a man who likes comfort, or I wouldn't have married Frida. She was 40 and tired, and no bargain special in the marriage market. But I had plans that didn't include murder. Not then. I was a patient man. Patient until a weakness occurred, and I spent the night playing cards in a back room at Nick's place. That night cost me $30,000, all on my signature. Perhaps that's why Nick's gun-happy friend Al was so insistent a couple of weeks later. I was sitting at the bar in Nick's.
Thornton.
Yes?
You busy?
That depends.
Nick wants to see you in his office.
Wants to see me about what?
I didn't ask him.
Well, tell him I'll drop back after I finish this drink.
Make it now.
What?
I said now, Thornton.
All right. All right, let's have it your way.
Hello, Roger.
Good evening, Nick.
Sit down.
Before I sit down, let's have an understanding. I don't like the idea of your man here pushing me around with a gun.
A gun?
I kept it covered, Nick.
And we don't want any trouble, Al.
Nobody's seen me.
Don't mind Al, Roger. He takes his work seriously.
Perhaps someone will take him seriously someday.
Al's a good boy. For a price. Right, Al?
That's right.
I'm not interested in the merits of your bodyguard.
Sit down, Roger. You're getting red in the face. Al, mix us a drink, will you?
Sure, Nick. Coming up.
Roger, what about that 30 grand you owe me?
I'll pay you when I get it.
That's a poor bet, Roger. I've been checking on you.
What do you mean, checking on me?
You're a punk. That wife of yours has got all the dough. You haven't got a dime.
My personal affairs don't concern you, Nick.
I'm a right guy. I've never given a right guy a bum break yet. About that, Al.
That's right.
I'm a gambler, Roger. When I lose, I pay off. When I win, I aim to collect.
Before you start laying down the law, Nick, that happens to be an uncollectible debt.
Yeah, I got a lawyer, too. When you say uncollectible, Roger, you want to figure all the angles.
What angles?
Al, what do you figure this guy's worth?
About 30 grand.
Which way?
Either way.
What are you talking about? What do you mean, either way?
Tell him, Al.
Sitting up or lying down?
Now, see here, Nick.
I can see, Roger. And I want you to see me tomorrow. With 30 grand.
I said I'd pay you.
Tomorrow.
I don't know if I can get it that soon.
I don't like punks like you, Roger. You're crummy. With all that dough you're tied up to, you're still crummy.
I'll do the best I can.
When I said tomorrow, Roger, I wasn't kidding. Was I, Al?
You
I didn't like Nick calling me crummy. Whatever I wasn't Nick's kind of tramp. I was furious with myself for becoming so stupidly involved with him in that card game. And Frida had me tied down as if I were a child, making me account for every nickel. If I'd had her then, I could have killed her. I'd had to have a talk with Frida. When I got home, she was in the library.
You're late, Roger.
I stopped for a drink.
Won't you have your cocktails here at home?
You said you were going to the doctor's.
I did go.
Well, I thought you'd be late.
Well, not this late.
Is this going to be another session, Frida?
No, it's not going to be another session. Roger, we're growing apart, aren't we?
Oh, for heaven's
Now,
sakes.
please, Roger.
You'd stop treating me like a child. Do you know what someone called me today? Do you, Frida?
No.
Crummy. He called me crummy because I'm tied to your apron
Oh,
strings.
now,
How do you
Roger.
think I felt? Vice president. I signed my name to half a dozen letters, and that makes me a vice president. Oh, I'm sick of it.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry? Did you marry me so you could push a button and have me come running?
Now, don't be absurd, Roger.
Why am I? Put yourself in my place.
I have put myself in your place. Tonight, while I was waiting for you.
What do you mean, Frida?
Well, I thought it'd be nice if we could spend the weekend at the lodge.
The mountain.
Yes, Roger.
Why?
Oh, we could talk things over.
Why can't we talk it over now?
A weekend vacation together would be nice.
No, then you didn't have anything to talk over. It's only a ruse to get me up to the lodge.
No, it wasn't a ruse. You've been wanting to handle the advertising for the plant. I wanted to surprise you.
You mean you're turning the advertising over to me?
Yes.
I'll control the whole department, everything?
Everything.
Why, that's wonderful, darling. Of course it's a surprise, a charming surprise.
Does it make you happy, Roger?
Of course it does. Now I have something to do, or something I can sink my teeth into.
Then will you go up to the lodge for the weekend?
Well, why don't you run up by yourself this time, Frida? You need the rest, you know, and I have something important to tend to.
I wanted you to go.
Of course you did, dear. But next time, Frida. Next time. I promise you. Frida's act was more considerate than she realized. Having access to some funds, I could pay Nick, write it off to advertising. For a moment, I felt almost kindly toward Frida. But then, as I stared at her, long and hard, wondering if I could care for her even remotely, my thoughts were revolted. I hated her for condescending to place me in charge of the advertising department. I knew I could no longer tolerate her, standing in the way of everything I was waiting for. Not until the next day did I conceive the plan. I was ready when Nick's bodyguard, Al, came into my office.
Nick sent me over.
I didn't think it was a social call.
I don't like jokes.
You're very businesslike, aren't you, Al?
I work for a living.
When you work hard, and when you play, you play hard. Is that right, Al?
That's right.
Could you use, say, $5,000 to play with?
I don't like chiselers.
Chiselers?
You heard me.
Oh, you think I'm trying to buy you off because of the money I owe Nick?
What am I supposed to think?
I see. Well, here's a check for Nick. What do you think now?
30 grand. How do I know this is good?
You're smarter than that, Al.
Okay, what's on?
What's 5,000 worth to you, Al?
Could be worth anything. Maybe.
Maybe.
Nick doesn't come in on this?
No. This is just between us.
How hard is it?
Well, it may be a bit difficult.
For 10 grand, I might see you.
10,000.
Is it yes or is it no?
Well, I don't know yet, Al. I'll give you a ring tomorrow at Nick's. I have to make some arrangements. Frida?
Yes, Roger?
You still planning to go to the mountains for the weekend?
No, not without you.
Well, I've been thinking, you do need a rest, you know.
Oh, I can rest just as well right here.
Yes, I realize that, but, well, I thought I might come up to the lodge with you.
Oh, Roger, do you really mean it?
Of course, dear.
Oh, I'm so glad you decided to go with me.
Oh, there's just one thing, Frida.
Yes?
I won't be able to come up until later Saturday evening.
Oh, I don't mind driving up late.
But you don't understand, Frida. I expect you to drive up early.
Why, Roger?
Well, you can check over the repair work that needs to be done on the lot.
Repair work?
Yes, I ran into an old friend of mine today, Frida, a carpenter, Al Graves. He's a bit down on his luck, and You know, the lodge could stand some work.
Oh, that's perfectly all right with me, Roger, but must I go up early?
Well, we don't want him hanging around, do we?
No, of course not.
Good. Then I'll ride up with Al. Now, when we get there, we can discuss the repairs. He'll look things over, and then he'll drive on back in his own car.
And you want me to go up early so I can make a list of the things to be done?
Yes, please, that's it. Do you mind about the carpenter, I mean?
Of course I don't mind, Roger. I'm just so happy that you want to go.
Thanks for the drink, Thornton.
You haven't answered my question, Al.
I'm thinking.
Thinking what?
Murder's quite a rap.
You had your proposition. If you want to forget it.
I didn't say that.
Then you'll do it.
When's the payoff?
1,000 now. 9,000 Saturday night.
You want it done about 9 o'clock?
Just so it happens before I get there.
I get a ride back with you.
Yes.
Maybe you try to pull something like the cops.
I couldn't risk bringing the police in. You're smart enough to know that.
Smarter than you think, Thornton.
All right, now it has to look like a struggle and a robbery.
Leave that to me. Is everything okay with the wife for me to ride her up there?
It will be. Saturday morning.
July 4th, 1949, Murder by Experts on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
And thanks for joining us on this Independence Day edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, an episode of Murder by Experts, the 2 coffins to fill, as was originally broadcast Monday, July 4th, 1949. In the newspapers of that Monday, 73 years ago, these were some of the headlines. Hot across the nation in Pierre, South Dakota, Indio, California, 109 degrees. Chicago, 102.4, an all-time high for the date. An even 100 at Valentine, Nebraska. Detroit, 97. Newark, 99. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh each, 94 degrees. And the Weather Bureau says more of the same is to come. In England, Prime Minister Attlee declared yesterday in Manchester, England, communists are trying to disrupt Britain's recovery, striking out at unofficial strikes. He said the only people to gain from them are those people who would like to see our great social democracy experiment fail. Most critical of Britain's present unofficial strikes is a walkout of about 8,000 dock workers tying up about 80 ships, some carrying food, in London. The strike grew out of the dock workers' refusal to handle cargo from Canadian ships, now in dispute with crew members who belong to the Canadian Seamen's Union. Czechoslovak Communist Premier Anton Zapotsky appealed yesterday for peace and calm to quiet bloody peasant riots against the state's drive to control the Catholic Church. Communist leaders apparently were shocked by peasant resistance to police attempts to arrest or intimidate village priests in strongly Catholic Slovakia. After a week's silence, the controlled press and government officials confirmed reports that Slovak peasants had fought police with clubs and scythes to protect their local priests. Informed diplomatic and church sources said 2 communist policemen were killed in sporadic riots last week. 3 Democrat senators unveiled yesterday the broad outline of a $15 billion program to stimulate the nation's economy and halt growing unemployment. Described by its sponsors as a plan to quarantine unemployment, it calls for government action to boost private investment and a shelf of public works to be started in case of severe recession. Montana Democrat Senator James E. Murray, also Democrat Alabama Senator John J. Sparkman, and Minnesota Democrat Hubert H. Humphrey discussed the measure, soon to be introduced in both houses of Congress, in a radio roundtable with commentator Charles Palmer. Disclosure of a Cominform blockade on military supplies for Yugoslavia seems certain to raise sooner or later the question whether Marshal Tito, in his struggle with Russia, can obtain arms from the Western powers. Responsible Washington officials said yesterday, so far as they knew, this question had not yet arisen. However, it appears almost inevitable in view of the cautious pro-Tito policies the Western powers are following and the limitation on Tito's own manufacturing resources. It was bad enough when Pierce J. Spence kept a pigeon, several dogs, and at least 1 cat in his room. But when he slipped live lobsters into the Baltimore boarding house bathtub, that was just too much for the landlady, Mrs. Philip J. Padovan. So a royal ruckus was started in the rooming house with animals flying every which way. Spence ended up being fined $50. And those some of the day's top news stories, as reported in the newspapers of Monday, July 4th, 1949, on your radio, Murder by Experts. The conclusion you'll hear coming up next on this Independence Day Monday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
On Tuesday's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, another summer program, Confession, as it was originally broadcast 69 years ago today, July 5th, 1953. A young woman gets mixed up with a couple of drug users, and we hear her confession. That will be coming up on Tuesday's Classic Radio Theater. But now the conclusion of Murder by Experts, 73 years ago, July 4th, 1949.
The Thornton residence?
Oh, Charles, this is Mr. Thornton.
Oh, good morning, sir.
May I speak to Mrs. Thornton?
Very well, sir. She's right here, sir.
Roger?
Oh, I was afraid you might have left for the lodge already.
No, not for an hour yet.
Frida, I wondered if you'd mind doing something.
What is it?
Well, Al Graves, the carpenter who is going to drive me up,
Yes?
his car is broken down. It's in the garage. Would you mind terribly taking Al up with you?
Oh, Roger, really,
He could look over the repairs himself that way.
Well, when will you come up?
As soon as I'm finished working at the office, I'm working on the new advertising program.
Well, I suppose I could have Richard take Al and myself up in the sedan.
Oh, you don't have to bother Richard. Why not take your convertible?
Oh, couldn't we have that carpenter come up some other time?
All right. Let's just forget the whole thing, Frida. If you wish, you can go on up alone.
Now, Roger, you know that...
Now, things must always go your way.
Well, you'll drive up in your car?
Yes. Al can use it to return to town in.
Well, all right. Where'll I pick him up?
On the corner of Hawthorne and Orange.
Hawthorne and Orange.
Yes, I'll tell him to watch for the convertible.
All right, Roger. I'll see you at the lodge tonight, darling.
Things for the past few days had moved so amazingly fast and remarkably well that I had little time to reflect upon my emotions. Frida's surprising agreement to my wishes I knew was merely a new tack in her attempt to draw me closer to her. And yet, as I drove through the lane to the lodge in the evening, I had an unaccountable fear. The wind whined through the trees, and the eerie sound disturbed me. I parked the car and sat for a few moments watching the lights in the lodge. It was 10 o'clock. Al should have been finished long ago. I got out of the car, walked to the veranda, and opened the door.
You finally got here.
Yes.
Well, how does it look? You satisfied?
I said to make it look like a struggle.
Well, don't it?
I guess it's all right.
You got the dough.
Where is she?
In the bedroom. Go in, take a look. Turn on the light.
No. I can see.
Satisfied, Thornton?
She's partly under the bed.
Yeah, she got scared. She tried to hide. I had to follow her.
Shut the door. I said to shut the door.
You're a funny guy.
Why?
You figure all this out and can't stomach your own stuff.
Let's sit down and have a drink.
Sure. You got the dough?
Yes, sure. Oh, there should be some glasses here.
On that shelf.
Oh, yes, I see. I'll fix the drinks.
When I get that drink, we're gonna blow.
Where's her car?
Garage. Want to see it?
No. Here you are.
You need it worse than I do, Thornton.
Where'll you go from here, Al?
A trip, maybe.
Well, you have nothing to worry about from me.
That I know, Thornton.
How was it done?
Gun.
Did you leave it?
I'll get rid of it.
Well, here's to you, Al.
Yeah. All right, Thornton. Now let's have the dough.
Certainly. I've got it right here.
You know, I've been thinking about you, Thornton. I think Nick's right. You're crummy.
Oh, now, you shouldn't feel that way, Al.
If I had to do it over...
You won't.
Say, I'm sick. What'd you put in that drink?
Why, nothing, Al.
You double-crossing. I'll kill you, Al.
Will you, Al? I poured some of the liquor on Al and tipped the bottle over. Then I carried him out of the lodge, across the carpet to Pine Needles, to the bluff 100 yards away. I placed one of Frida's expensive bracelets in his pocket, along with some money and articles of lesser value. I dropped him over the bluff and heard his body strike the rocky stream bed 300 feet below. I went quickly to my car and drove away. I drove rapidly for an hour till I passed an all-night diner. I wheeled the car around on the highway, pointing it back in the direction I'd come. Then I ran the car into a ditch hard. The front fender crumpled against the wheel and the tire blew out. I couldn't have wished anything better. This was it, my alibi. I walked a mile up the road to the diner. As I opened the door, a car pulled up. When I entered the cafe, a girl got out of the car and followed me in. Where'll it be, folks?
Coffee, please.
And you, mister?
Coffee. Say, is there a tow truck around?
Tow truck?
I blew out a tire and went into the ditch about a mile down the road.
And Jim Parson has a tow truck. And him and the missus went into L.A. Won't be back till Monday. Here you are, miss.
Monday.
Thanks. Wreck your car bad?
Smashed the wheel. I don't have a spare.
Oh, that's too bad. Going far?
My lodge, about 50 miles up. The Thornton place. Roger Thornton. Maybe you know it.
Thornton? No, can't say I do.
My wife's there. But I'm sure she's all right.
You don't stand much of a chance of getting a ride going that way this time of night.
I suppose not.
You can use the phone there, reverse the charges.
No, the phone's disconnected up at the lodge.
You might be able to hitch to L.A. Once in a while, there's a car going that way.
That's an idea.
Anything else for you, miss?
No, thanks. How much?
10 cents. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
I reckon the young lady didn't want a passenger.
So it seems. Say, I think I will use your phone.
Help yourself.
Have you got that straight, Charles?
Yes, sir. I'm to call the auto club and have them pick up your car.
It's quite a way to the lodge, so I'm going to try to get a ride back to town.
Were you hurt, sir?
Oh, I'm perfectly all right. It may be rather late before I get in, so leave a light in the library.
Very well, sir.
Good night, Charles.
Is that all, sir?
Why, yes. Yes, that's all.
Very well, sir.
Thank you for the use of the phone.
Oh, that's okay, mister.
Could you use the drink?
I ain't never been known to turn one down.
I got a bottle in my car.
Oh, that's quite a walk.
It's nice out, and I could use a drink myself.
Suit yourself.
You don't mind if I sit around after I get back? Maybe I can pick up a ride.
Glad to have you. I'm open all night.
Good. I'll be right back.
Mister?
What? Yes?
Did you say you wanted a ride to L.A.?
Why, yes, if you're going that way.
Hop in.
Well, thank you very much.
I would have asked you in there, but I didn't want to give the counterman the wrong idea, Mr. Thornton.
How did you know my name?
You told the counterman.
Oh, of course. I was just going to get a bottle out of my car.
I already got it.
You got it?
Sure. Nice car, thirsty girl. I had a hunch.
How long were you at the car?
Long enough to find the bottle and see your name on the steering post.
I thought you heard me tell the counterman.
I did. So then I knew you was a gentleman.
Have you drunk much of that bottle?
Enough.
Hey, you shouldn't be driving if you've been drinking too much.
Scared?
Oh, no, it's for your own good.
I'm celebrating.
You might have waited till you got in Los Angeles.
Mr. Thornton.
Yes?
Why'd you turn your car around and run it into that ditch?
What?
I know all about you, Mr. Thornton.
Who are you? What's your name?
Della.
Della what?
Just Della.
Look out! You nearly turned us over. Either stop this car and let me drive, or...
Or what, Mr. Thornton?
Stop this car.
When we get to Nix.
Did you say Nix?
I'm Al's girlfriend.
No.
Didn't you think Al could have a girlfriend?
Why did you pick me up?
Because I'm not half as tight as you think I am.
Then, what do you want?
Al was a punk, a nice punk, but punks come cheap, Mr. Thornton. I want that $9,000.
Do you think I'd carry that kind of money around?
And did you think Al was stupid enough not to have somebody cover him at the lodge?
You were there? You saw it?
Yes, I was there, and I saw.
You're a very brave girl, Della. Threatening me.
I don't scare easy. I know you're kind.
Do you?
This is a gun, Mr. Thornton. I'm not afraid to use it.
You're a very stupid child.
If you try anything, I'll wreck this car.
Watch that curve. I'll take that gun.
Oh, let go!
Now, stop that car or I'll kill you.
No, you won't.
I'll hold that wheel.
Let go! Let go of me! Let go!
We're stopping right here. All right. Now, get out of the car. Get out.
I'm willing to talk to you.
Get out.
My arm. Ow.
Now, down this ravine.
I was only kidding you. I wanted to scare you. I didn't mean it.
Must I force you?
I won't tell nobody.
You're my only witness. My only witness.
Please, let me tell you. Let me talk to you.
This will do.
Wait. You've got to let me explain it.
When the girl told me she'd seen me kill Al, I went out of my head. I didn't know what I was doing. I shouldn't have killed her. I was stupid, but I couldn't help it. I couldn't stop. I drove the girl's car into town and left it on a side street. I dropped the gun down a sewer and caught a bus home. It was almost daylight. I was tired and sick. But it was all over. It was all over. I unlocked the front door and quietly entered the house. My house. I was too keyed up for sleep. What I needed was a bracer. I went into the library.
Good morning, Roger.
Frida!
Who did you expect?
Frida, what are you doing here?
I've been waiting since you telephoned Charles.
I killed them.
What?
I killed them both.
You killed them?
Al and the girl, and you're here. You're right here.
Stop it. Stop it, Roger. Roger, stop it. I'm so sorry for you.
I had it all figured out. I did. I had...
That man, Al, the carpenter, he told me everything, Rochester. I had to pay him.
You paid him? You? Then it was the girl I saw. She was in the bedroom, pretending to be you, pretending to be dead. Al framed the whole thing as a shakedown. He never intended to kill you.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you.
You said that! You said that! Who are you to feel sorry for me?
I love you. I'm going to miss you, Roger.
Love? Then why did you do something? Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't know. I stayed home hoping you'd come here and we could talk things over before you did anything rash.
Rash? You call it rash? Do you know what I've done?
That's why I'm so sorry for you.
You say that once more, Frida.
It was greed, wasn't it, Roger? Greed for my money.
I hate you, Frida.
I know. And I love you. Isn't it strange, Roger?
It's pathetic.
What I wanted to tell you at the lodge, Roger. Or if I'd only told you sooner.
What do you mean? Frida, what do you mean?
I'll tell you. But it's too late now, Roger. You've killed 2 people. And you'll hang. If I let you.
What are you doing with that gun?
I haven't any money, Roger. I've been wiped out. That's what I wanted to tell you. You needn't have killed them.
No, Frida. No.
But I still love you.
No. No.
And I won't let you hang. Goodbye, Roger.
And so the curtain falls on 2 coffins to fill, which was chosen by guest expert Kelly Roos, whose latest mystery is Murder in Any Language. Next week at this time, Murder by Experts brings you a story of intrigue and surprise, of a beautiful Hollywood actress, and of a man who died twice. Selected for your approval by the famous mystery novelist, Miss Helen McCloy. Until then, this is your host, John Dixon Carr, hoping you'll be with us next week at this time.
In the cast of 2 Coffins to Fill, which was written by Robert Foster, were Carl Weber, Eleanor Phelps, Jimmy Stevens, Miriam Wolfe, and Maurice Tarplin. Music was under the direction of Emerson Buckley and was composed by Richard DuPage. Murder by Experts is produced and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan. All characters in our story were fictitious, and any resemblance to the names of actual persons was purely coincidental. This is Phil Tonkin speaking. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Murder by Experts, a Mutual show, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, from July 4th, 1949, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Have a request for our podcast listeners, and if you would, on your podcast app, comment on us, recommend us, 5 stars, whatever you can do to help us reach more people. These individual podcast apps have their own recommendation cycles, and if you can help with that, I'd really appreciate it. I'd also appreciate it if you'd thank this radio station to our radio listeners and support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. My webpage, classicradio.stream. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.